Hey everyone, this is Tina, your host from Money Teacher. So, politics in the real world is often hard to separate from sports. So it is with Iran's place in the World Cup in men's soccer being co-hosted by the United States in June. Iran's top soccer official says it's hard to look ahead with hope toward the World Cup after the U.S. and Israeli military strikes on his country at the weekend. The potential political angle around this, all the upheaval. We know the U.S. attacked Iran as part of a joint ongoing operation which is going on right now with Israel. What could the conflict mean with regards to the World Cup? I mean, I suppose in many ways, even with 100 days to go, we can't say 100% what this World Cup's going to look like. Players are playing for a regime, not the country. And many Iranians feel that the team doesn't represent the people or the country. So you always have to bear that in mind. So, for instance, when you hear quotes from the president of the Iranian Football Federation, that is a spokesman of the Islamic regime. He is not necessarily talking for the country, the people, or the team. So I think the players, the women's players, and also the men's players are in a really difficult position because a lot of them, of course, their dream is to play for the people and the country, but they don't want to play for the regime. U.S. and Israeli military strikes on Iran over the weekend just fundamentally changed everything about the 2026 World Cup. Iran's top soccer official came out publicly and said it's basically impossible to look ahead with hope toward hosting matches in America right now. This isn't just rhetoric. It's a sign that one of the world's biggest sporting events is facing an existential crisis. Nations are now seriously weighing whether it's even safe to send their teams and fans to U.S. stadiums. Security experts and politicians are openly warning about lone wolf attacks and organized terror risks in major American cities. The consequence is immediate and undeniable. The boycott is already in motion, and what started as a geopolitical conflict is now threatening to dismantle one of soccer's flagship tournaments, the Iran crisis and the first domino falls. Iran's soccer federation is trapped in an impossible position right now. Send the team to the United States during heightened Iran-US tensions or pull out entirely. Neither option is good. If Iran withdraws from the tournament, it costs the federation more than $10 million in FIFA payments they were counting on. That's devastating money. On top of that, they risk getting banned from the next World Cup entirely. Those are massive consequences for a national federation already dealing with domestic and international pressure. But here's the flip side. Staying means exposing players, coaching staff, and fans to what security experts are now calling a primary terror target environment. According to reporting from The Times, politicians and security experts say the U.S. strikes have significantly increased the possibility of both lone wolf attacks and organized terror operations. They are not being vague about where either. The specific threat zones they're naming are New York City, Los Angeles, and Washington, D.C. 3 of the major host cities for 2026 matches. That's not a minor concern. That's the backbone of the tournament security nightmare. Now, here's where it gets really complicated for FIFA. If the U.S. government refuses to host Iran, which is being discussed as a genuine possibility right now, FIFA faces a choice between 2 catastrophic options. Either they strip the United States of hosting the tournament entirely, or they watch it collapse anyway. And this precedent is not theoretical. 2 years ago, FIFA actually did this. Indonesia was stripped of the Under-20 World Cup when it refused to host Israel's team. FIFA has already shown they'll do it. The threat is real. Once Iran's participation becomes uncertain, other nations start running the numbers. Why would you risk sending your players and your citizens into what amounts to a war zone? European teams are already quietly assessing their security protocols with their governments. South American federations are consulting behind closed doors about what they do if the situation escalates. They're not being dramatic. They're being responsible. The domino effect is already starting. If one major soccer nation pulls out for legitimate safety reasons, others follow. Not because of politics or solidarity moves, but because they have a duty to protect their people. Morocco might pull out. Mexico is watching this extremely carefully because their fans and players would actually cross into the United States during the tournament. One withdrawal triggers another. One security incident triggers an avalanche of cancellations. This is where the boycott stops being a possibility and becomes an inevitability. It's not a threat anymore, it's the trajectory we're already on. The boycott cascades and FIFA's nightmare unfolds. The 2026 World Cup was supposed to be historic. This was the moment, the first tournament ever co-hosted by three nations, the United States, Canada, and Mexico. It was supposed to be a celebration of North American soccer unity. Instead, the security warnings have completely shattered that entire narrative. Mark Carney and Canadian leadership are already signaling serious concerns about the safety framework. They're asking hard questions about U.S. stadium security and intelligence sharing protocols. These aren't casual discussions. These are government officials looking at their responsibility to their citizens. Mexico is in the exact same position. Teams and fans crossing into the United States during heightened Iran-U.S. tensions isn't a celebration anymore. It's a liability. The entire co-hosting arrangement that was supposed to amplify the tournament is now fracturing under the pressure. FIFA's original master plan assumed a stable geopolitical environment. That assumption is dead. The organization built the entire tournament structure around predictability and safety. Neither of those things exist anymore. What FIFA is discovering right now is that international soccer doesn't exist in a vacuum. It exists in the real world. And the real world just became a lot more dangerous. Can't profile or detect every potential threat. Can't profile or detect every potential threat when the threat comes from a motivated individual with access to a public gathering. And a World Cup creates the ultimate public gathering. Hundreds of thousands of people in stadiums, in fan zones, in city streets. Security experts are warning openly that large concentrations of people in U.S. cities right now are elevated risk environments. This isn't just about Iran. It's about the broader U.S.-Iran conflict, creating a cascade of secondary risks that ripple through global soccer. Nations are now publicly questioning whether their participation is ethically defensible to their citizens. How do you tell families it's safe to send their loved ones to watch soccer in an American city during a Middle East crisis? Some federations are actively exploring formal withdrawal. Others are demanding that FIFA move matches to Canada or Mexico entirely, or postpone the tournament altogether. The financial and logistical chaos is immense. Stadiums across the U.S. are already booked. Infrastructure is built. Broadcast rights are sold. Television networks have committed hundreds of millions of dollars. But the entire foundation the tournament was built on is crumbling in real time. FIFA is caught between two genuinely impossible outcomes. Strip the United States of hosting rights and face unprecedented backlash plus catastrophic financial losses. Or proceed with a tournament that major nations are boycotting, which destroys the event's credibility and makes it almost meaningless. Both paths lead to disaster. Most of them never thought they'd have to. Most of them never thought they'd have to run. The clock is ticking on this in a way that doesn't exist in normal FIFA operations. Decisions can't wait months or get pushed back. They need to start happening in the coming weeks. What started as a geopolitical conflict between two nations has now become an existential threat to one of sport's biggest events. The 2026 World Cup isn't officially canceled. Not yet. But the boycott is no longer a warning or a possibility. It's a reality unfolding right now in real time with consequences that will reshape international soccer for years to come. What's next and why this matters? The next 48 to 72 hours are absolutely critical. Watch for official statements from major federations and FIFA's response to those statements. Pay close attention to Canada and Mexico, whether they formally distance themselves or demand major tournament restructuring. If Iran officially withdraws or gets excluded, that's the signal that triggers the broader boycott. This could fundamentally reshape how geopolitical crises affect future tournaments. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the moment this breaks. Drop your predictions in the comments below.